Hey everyone, good morning and welcome back to the channel. Me, Kevin here, DDO6, and we need to have an absolute serious reality check today because what is happening behind the scenes on Wall Street, at the Federal Reserve, and across global geopolitical lines is completely insane, and most ordinary, everyday people are completely blind to it. Look, I know you look at your phone, you look at social media, and you think everything is totally fine. You see people hyping up the latest tech stocks, or you see the official administration telling you that everything is under control. But let me drop some hard truth on you right now. You are being systematically scalped by a financial system that thrives on your ignorance. While you are scrolling through videos wondering why your grocery bill is skyrocketing, the ultra-wealthy are capitalizing on historic market volatility driven by literal wartime threats, rising energy inputs, and massive institutional cover-ups. If you do not understand the macro forces ripping through the markets in May 2026, you are not just sitting still, you are actively becoming poorer by the day because inflation and toxic liabilities are eating your future alive. Before we break down the insane developments with the Middle East nuclear explosions, the sudden military pretext in Cuba, and exactly how to position your portfolio for maximum wealth accumulation. Let us do a quick pulse check right now because I want to see who in this community is actually ready to take their financial freedom seriously. Do me a massive favor and drop a comment right below this video with your current age and the exact dollar amount you are realistically planning to invest every single month. I do not care if your number is $50, $500, or $5,000. Type it down in the comment section right now because tracking your data and being brutally honest with your numbers is the absolute first step to breaking the cycle of being an average retail casualty. Seriously, pause the video, comment your age and monthly investment amount below so we can hold each other accountable as a real wealth building community. All right, let us dive straight into the massive breaking news that dropped over the weekend because it changes the entire global economic landscape. The world is looking at an absolute geopolitical disaster while the corporate media is completely looking the other way. In the past 24 hours, 2 separate nuclear sites in the Middle East have exploded, and the Trump administration is in full cover. Up mode first. In Abu Dhabi, inside the United Arab Emirates, a critical nuclear facility was hit directly by a drone strike. Fire and rescue services are on the scene this morning responding to a massive blaze inside an electrical generator just outside the inner perimeter of the Baraka nuclear power plant in the Al Diafra region of the UAE. The UAE Defense Ministry officially confirmed that 3 hostile drones were heading toward the facility. They managed to shoot down 2, but 1 struck the target, and the facility is actively on fire. Then we turn immediately to Israel, where a massive mushroom cloud was captured on video following an explosion near the Istat Mika airbase in Beit Shemesh. Now, Israel is claiming that this was just a contained, pre-planned detonation at a civilian factory, but there are massive red flags everywhere. There were absolutely no prior notices given to the civilian population, which is completely standard protocol if you are doing a controlled explosion that results in a literal mushroom cloud. It is widely known among global intelligence agencies that this specific area is where nuclear weapons are stored. So while the official political rhetoric insists that we have a ceasefire and that we have moved on from Operation Epic Fury, the data shows that 2 major nuclear infrastructure sites in the Middle East are actively burning. So what is the administration doing while the Middle East burns naturally? They are trying to distract the public and start a conflict with another country because that is exactly what you do when you run a Ponzi scheme regime. You move on from one horrible self-inflicted problem by creating a brand new, even more terrifying problem to shift the headlines. And right on cue, the propaganda media apparatus is working overtime to create an immediate pretext for military action. This time in Cuba, Axios just dropped an exclusive report claiming that Cuba has acquired more than 300 military drones and has recently discussed operational plans to use them to attack the United States naval base at Guantanamo Bay, American military vessels, and potentially Key West, just 90 miles north of Havana. Let us cut straight to the chase of what the administration is actually thinking. They are using this manufactured Axios report as an immediate pretext to launch an invasion of Cuba right in time for the upcoming midterm elections. We already know that CIA Director Ratcliffe was on the ground in Cuba at the end of last week discussing military options. We know that the administration is preparing to formally issue an arrest warrant for 94-year-old Alan Castro, who is not even the day-to-day leader anymore, but rather a spiritual figurehead. It is the exact same playbook they used in Venezuela, the exact same failed playbook they tried to use in Iran, and now they are running it back in Cuba. The supreme irony of this entire situation is that the administration is screaming about Cuba getting drones from Russia, yet Donald Trump has spent his entire term acting as a total Putin bootlicker. He systematically removed critical sanctions on Vladimir Putin, pulled 4,000 to 5,000 active United States troops out of Poland where they were supposed to be deployed, and consistently attacked the foundational stability of NATO. And now, the administration expresses absolute shock that Russia delivered advanced military drones to Cuba. They actively allowed Russian naval vessels to sail straight through the United States blockade months ago. What did they think was on those ships? Medical supplies and baby formula? Of course, they were transporting military assets and drones, but the administration let them slide, and now the MAGA politicians are out here putting on a total performance. You have Republican lawmakers like Diaz, Balart, Gimenez, and Salazar immediately releasing synchronized statements saying that the Cuban regime poses a dangerous existential national security threat to the United States because drones are now 90 miles from Florida. Do you see how incredibly stupid they think the American public is? They are actively starving the everyday people of Cuba to death with a brutal economic blockade, threatening total military annihilation, and then using the predictable blowback to manufacture a warpath right before an election cycle to scare Latino voters back into their camp. It is a completely transparent political shell game, and the corporate news networks are barely giving it a single mention. This entire situation is deeply interconnected with the financial markets. Right now, 11 massive United States Air Force C-17 transport aircraft are actively leaving the Middle East and flying directly toward Europe. This exact same mass departure flight pattern happened immediately before the administration launched its military escalation back in late February. There is no clear long-term strategy here. It is an endless cycle of conflict designed to distract from failing economic metrics at home. While they preach about patriotism, they are systematically attacking their own conservative colleagues. The administration just launched a massive social media attack against Congressman Thomas Massie, calling him the worst Republican in history, simply because Massie Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene demanded the full release of the Epstein files to expose institutional child trafficking rings. The administration stepped in, told them those were all their friends, blocked the release, and is now spending $40 million in primary challenges to destroy Massie's political career. It tells you absolutely everything you need to know about the corrupt nature of the predatory regime running the country. Meanwhile, senators like Lindsey Graham are on television this morning openly calling for immediate devastating airstrikes on Iran's domestic energy infrastructure. They are actively trying to bomb the global oil supply into oblivion, thinking it will force a diplomatic deal, while Iran is simply playing a game of chess to wait out the administration's patience. This is precisely why having an accurate, data-driven media diet is so incredibly critical for your personal survival right now. Most corporate outlets are pushing a highly curated political agenda to keep you emotional, reactive, and prone to making terrible financial decisions. Look at what is happening to the average consumer under this regime. The latest CBS News polling shows that an astonishing 76% of the population is deeply concerned about the economy, and 67% report feeling massive, chronic stress over their personal financial situation. When House Speaker Mike Johnson was confronted with these devastating kitchen table economic metrics on television, his response was to point right back to the Middle East and the closure of the Straits of Hormuz. He literally told the American public that gas prices and grocery transportation costs are high because of the shipping blockades, and that as soon as they get that sorted out through military aggression, they will get back to fixing the kitchen table issues. This is a total lie designed to shield them from the consequences of their own disastrous economic policies. They claim the Straits of Hormuz remain closed because the United States successfully wiped out 4 layers of Iranian leadership, leaving nobody with the authority to negotiate a resolution. This is patently false. The Iranian regime and the IRGC have an active, fully functioning leadership structure in place. Their foreign minister, Arakchi, and parliament leader, Kalibaf, are actively taking bilateral calls from European leaders and have just established a special envoy to China, following Trump's failed visit. The administration knows exactly who they are, but they lie to create an illusion of chaos that justifies their delusions of global conquest. The administration's trade representatives, like Jameson Greer, are traveling around trying to spin absolute economic failures into massive victories. They are boasting about fantastic Chinese agreements to purchase United States soybeans and Boeing aircraft. Yet Beijing has not confirmed a single one of these sales. The Wall Street Journal editorial board openly called them out for playing a deceptive shell game, re-announcing the exact same past agricultural agreements over and over again to make it look like they achieved a win. Under previous administrations, China was quietly purchasing 29 million metric tons of soybeans annually without a single headline. Now, after trade wars and economic destruction, China is buying half as much, and the administration wants a participation trophy for a massive structural loss. To top it all off, the Department of Justice and the acting Attorney General are wasting millions of taxpayer dollars and law enforcement resources, focused entirely on the 2020 election. They are actively assigning top federal prosecutors to dig through 6-year-old voting records in multiple states to try and prove a fictional conspiracy theory, while the average American citizen is drowning in debt, struggling to afford basic health care, and getting completely crushed by high interest rates. It is a pathetic display of fraud and con artistry from a political class that cares more about their golden ballrooms than the financial survival of the middle class. As an investor, You cannot allow this political theater to dictate your wealth building strategy. When you see the stock market drop 1.2% in a single day, breaking a major winning streak, the worst thing you can possibly do is panic, cash out your portfolio, and sit on the sidelines. That is exactly how ordinary folks act as exit liquidity for giant institutional funds. Wall Street wants you emotional because emotional investors buy at the absolute top of the market out of FOMO and sell at the absolute bottom out of fear. You have to understand that the global corporate infrastructure build-out is an unstoppable multi-decade trend that will completely outlast any single political regime. If you want to build true generational wealth and achieve genuine financial freedom, you must adopt a framework of strict personal finance discipline. You need to look at your personal finances like a business. Stop wasting your hard-earned capital on depreciating liabilities to impress people you do not even care about. If you are financing a brand new luxury vehicle with a massive monthly payment that eats up 15% of your income, you are actively trading your financial freedom for a piece of metal. You should be completely comfortable driving a reliable, older vehicle like a paid-off 2006 model and living in a highly efficient, minimalist space so you can maximize the spread between what you earn and what you spend. That spread is your wealth building ammunition. Instead of letting your savings sit in a traditional cash account where inflation systematically melts your purchasing power by 3 to 4% every single year, you need to automate your investing process through dollar cost averaging, or DCA. Dollar cost averaging means you completely eliminate human emotion and market timing from the equation. You set up an automatic transfer every single week or every single month to purchase core, highly diversified index funds like VO, which tracks the 500 most profitable corporations in the world, or SAG for robust dividend growth and compounding stability. The mathematical reality is that time in the market always beats trying to time the market over a long-term horizon. When the market sees a temporary pullback because of geopolitical noise in the Middle East or Cuba, your automatic DCA simply buys up more fractional shares at a heavy discount. When the market recovers and rips to new highs, your net worth expands significantly. You must also maximize your contributions to tax-advantaged accounts like a Roth IRA. By investing after-tax dollars into a Roth IRA today, every single dollar of capital gains and compounding dividend income inside that account grows 100% tax-free and can be withdrawn completely tax-free once you reach retirement age. It is the single greatest legal loophole available to protect your future wealth from government overreach. Do not let the manufactured chaos of 2026 scare you out of your long-term financial discipline. The structural build-out of data centers, global commerce, and advanced technology is still in its early innings, and there is still immense euphoria left to play out before any major secular bear market hits the economy down the road. In 2027, your job is to stay completely cold-blooded, control your emotions, follow the hard economic data, and stick to your automated investing blueprint. Double. Check your status to ensure you are fully locked into the channel. Let us keep building this community to 7 million subscribers. Thank you all so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Peace.